Good morning. Yes, it's me again, Ilyana Habsjah from the Executive MBA program in IPMI Business School. Yes, we finally arrived in the 8th week or the final session of corporate finance, and we are doing this video for the last time. Hopefully, I don't have to redo this class. And there's been a lot of journeys of learning in corporate finance. But first, I would really like to thank you, our Professor Roy Sembel, that have been a major insight for us in teaching corporate finance, which is different than I remember 20 years ago. Of course, studying it now gives a lot of new perspective and understanding. I finally understand what we are talking about. We'll start, of course, in the beginning, at the introduction. We start with the context. The context of corporate finance is to give we students the capability to problem solve in finance from the point of view of management, internal, or investors, external. So corporate finance in a way also help us in doing our daily business, our daily financing in our work, and also for our own financial planning. That's what makes it interesting. Then there's some expectation that we as students have to fulfill by the end of this course, and it shall be proven with the assignment that we are given now and the test that we are going to have tomorrow, next Saturday. Next, they're giving us an assignment, both for individual and for groups. There are a lot of buzz is because of this assignment. The individual assignment is the simulation of shares, and also quizzes, and there's also interim report and final report. I find the simulation of investment very interesting. There are also group assignment, investment simulation, movie review, special event with our group admin di Jasa Marga, and then the startup valuation. In this first meeting, we are teach about the principal agent problem, which is the conflict between shareholder and manager, and also between the owners that hire manager to operate the firms. Manager might not act in a way that maximize shareholder wealth. As an employee, this is something that we experience as well. Not always as exciting, but in a certain extent it happens. And also it is explained the importance of finance concept. We learn about risk and return trade-off, time value of money. There's an exercise about it, which means like receiving $1 now is worth more than receiving $1 in the future because of opportunity cost. Cash is king. There's a lot of concept that is shared, but only as an opening in this first course. We are given our first case, which is about our retirement plan. The second week, we learn about capital budgeting. It is a description of financial management goals that say the optimal orchestration of internal and external financial resources. Here, we also study the pillar of GCG, Good Corporate Governance, which is transparency, accountability, responsibility, and independency. That's just a sample of what we study. And then next, we also learn about the capital budgeting concept between planning, estimate the expected future cash flow, and also important financial concept. Investment simulation starts here. We are given 8 shares, then it becomes we have to choose 4 that we are investing in, and this causes quite a stir. We discuss very strongly about that, and we are given an amount which is 1 million rupiah to invest. Not a real amount, of course, but the Excel that it was given is really useful to be used for our daily investment as well. So this is a very useful week, if I may say so myself. In the third weeks, the topic is analysis of security portfolio investment. Here, in the analysis of securities, we are learning about 3 types of analysis. One is the fundamental analysis, second is technical analysis, and third is the market sentiment or investor sentiment. Fundamental analysis I'm quite familiar with because in our daily job we are also doing financial ratio, right? But of course, now with a completely or a more in-depth understanding of the matter. Technical analysis is news for me. I've never touched it before. And the market and investor sentiment is something that we are used to talking about. And then we are also learning of analysis of financial report, which consists of the balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow. We tend to do it regularly without realizing actually the knowledge behind it. Now we are just reminded. So like the balance sheet is within asset, of course liabilities and owner's equity, income statement is revenue minus expense, cash flow is basically the changes of cash that we have in hand. And then last, there's also a case on Ilmu Gestation that teach us about internal rate of return and net present value. It's a month since we are learning about corporate finance. We are learning about capital structure and dividend policy, issues in finance. Sometimes the theme cannot be delivered all in a week and it got postponed for the next week. But it's okay because the discussion is lively and very interesting. So in this 4th week, we learn about capital structure policy, the capital market line. And also we have to complete our first interim report of our chosen share. I chose ICBP, this is an Indo-Food company, and we are then have to present the fundamental analysis on the issue. Fraud risk management, corporate restructuring. That is what we learn in the week 5. Here we talk about risk management, like systematic risk, variance, correlation, bring back memories, yeah, right? And also about fraud risk management. Interestingly, it explained about the risk triangle, which is like perceived triangle, perceived opportunities, and rationalization. So we know why actually sometimes people do fraud and how to prevent it. Here, a very important message is about personal financial plan. It teaches us how to manage our own financial plan. And again, we are discussing about cases of RGR Nabisco on the leverage buyout. There's also a quiz on tax benefit and cost of financial distress. The 6th week, we learned about international finance, recent issues in finance. Here, we give out the second interim report is on the technical analysis. Boy, do we have to study about this technical analysis. We are looking left and right for where to study on this matter. And then we are also learn about international finance like call and put option, spot, forward contract, and arbitrage. Arbitrage can bring you profit if you know where to look for it. And then we study about the issues in finance, start valuation with internal view of the Forex media. We met a very interesting young man in this video, and it's very inspiring to see those young persons really get to know the business and how to develop them. In this 7th week, we learned about event analysis, portfolio performance evaluation. So basically, the group task that is assigned to us is evaluated here. The event analysis, we are using Jasa Marga bonds, since you know why, obviously. Issuance of bonds for sustainable growth. And then we are doing also the movie analysis, other people money, when we learn about ethics. So something that is legal, it's not necessarily ethical, vice versa. Then we learn about dividend policy. Here's a very strong debate on why we have to pay out dividend, with the professor being the negative part. But at the end, it teaches us and makes sure we remember about why dividend need to be paid out. Here also we studied about the foreign exchange, about what actually affect for the foreign exchange is inflation, GDP, and government rate restriction. Wow, that's a mouthful. Then we discuss our final investment discussion, and then we review and summary the lesson learned. Professor asked us to choose what is the most three important lesson or the three interesting lesson that we got. For me, first is the investment simulation, because like I mentioned before, it can be used and utilized for our daily financial investment as well. Second is the interview with the Folix media. Like I mentioned, it's very inspiring on how these young people are thinking out of the box and bigger than what we can imagine. And third is about the ethic. That's something illegal, yet not unnecessary ethical. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you so much again for Pak Roy Sembel for all the guidance, and thank you IPMI. I can say that my current experience learning corporate finance is much different and way better than the way I studied it 20 years ago. Thank you and see you soon.